Hello.
Hi, I just have a quick question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Yes.
Do you have a minute?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I found this really cool book in a bookstore. It's called Jehovah's Witnesses, Proclaimers of God's Kingdom.
Yes, uh-huh.
It was such a good find because it is a really nice book. I mean, it's a hardback. It's 700 pages long.
Correct.
So anyway, I was reading in the beginning about Charles Russell, and it said on page 47 that Russell believed Christ's invisible presence began in 1874.
Okay.
Did the organization teach that?
No.
They didn't?
Now, you say did it teach it? It's and matter of fact, look here. Now, my name is George. Now, who am I speaking to?
Christine. Hi.
Okay, Christine. Yeah, what church do you belong to?
Oh, well, I fellowship with the Christians, but we don't even have membership. So I don't know how that relates to this, but yeah, did the organization teach that before they came up?
Well, I mean, the reason I'm asking is, have you been to any of the witnesses meetings?
Oh, I did visit one time. I got invited.
Okay.
Yeah, I got invited.
Okay, that's nice. So now, what prompts you to want to know about that particular question? I mean, it does have that big book, but that is one particular thing. Why did that?
Oh, it just really stood out to me because I think they're teaching something else now. I was just wondering how long they taught that Christ was present since 1874.
Yeah. Well, that is a book that we do not have in circulation now. That book is out of print, and the reason it's out of print is because our understanding of materials in light of Bible prophecy it's just like Daniel say, in the end time, the light would get progressively
You mean
brighter.
they changed their views on the history? This is a book about the history of the organization. So you have new light on the history? I mean, what are you talking about? It's not a doctrine book. It's about their history. So I'm not sure what you're saying by that. And my question is not about doctrines. It's just about the history. This really stood out to me, and I was wondering how long they taught Christ was present since 1874 and when they changed it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, now I don't have that book in front of me.
It's on the website. It's on the website, which is really cool too. So you can look at it. This is on page 47, right at the top of the page.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that book is out of print, and that book has been replaced. And the reason I was helping you to understand is that because of the Creator Himself said that understanding will become more clearer.
You really don't understand. This is a book about the facts about their history. So how did they actually? Are they trying to revise that now?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get what you're saying. How this relates to this?
Well, you're making some incorrect statements. Okay, now one, it's not a sect. Jehovah's Witnesses is not a sect.
I didn't say sect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then too, and you have to understand, there are many books that have been published by Jehovah's Witnesses, and one thing that we will readily admit, that hey, we're not infallible. We have we made mistakes? Yes.
Well, I'm not even asking that. I'm just asking for some more clarification on that, on the history. Do you know how long they were teaching 1874?
Well, you have the history book, and so you have to research that for yourself. And that's what I'm saying.
I don't think it says. It seems, of course, I need to try to find it in here, I guess, but.
Yeah,
in this part, they don't mention it. I was just wondering what you thought. I thought you guys might know right offhand, because this is such an important thing that they taught falsely about the invisible presence. They don't really mention that a lot, do they?
see, if it's important, you have to understand now that book is not in print anymore.
Okay, well, I'm not following. You're not following even my question. It's on the website, and many witnesses have told me to read the website. So now you say it's irrelevant. I mean, the Bible is very old too. Is that old light? I mean, it's just. And what you're saying is not even relevant to history.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I tell you what. Actually, it's kind of difficult to try to help you.
Okay.
And like I say, but do look for not for the thing that's out of print. Look for the thing that's in print. But that book has been revised. It's a new book.
How can they revise the facts of the history? Are they trying to bury the part of this book or what? Do you understand the difference between a book setting forth their doctrines?
If that's what you want to believe, yeah. If that's what you want to believe.
Okay, well,
if you want to,
maybe you could find out sometime, like how long they were teaching 1874. I think it's really interesting, and I'm going to look more into it too.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, like
thanks so much.
Have a good one.
Okay, God bless.
Good afternoon.
Hi, is this the Kingdom Hall?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, I just had a quick question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a minute?
Who's calling, please?
Christine. What's your name?
Okay. What are you calling about?
I just had a quick question. I found this book in a thrift store. I think it's a Jehovah's Witness book. It's called Jehovah's Witnesses, Proclaimers of God's Kingdom.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a nice book. I mean, it's a hardback. It's 700 pages long. So I was happy to find that in a used store. But I had a question about page 47. It says that, this really stood out to me. It says that Charles Russell believed that Jesus was invisibly present since 1874.
I don't have the book in front of me, so I don't know the reference that you're... So what is your question?
Well, did he teach that in his books?
I don't know what book you're referring to.
Well, the books that he wrote at that time, they were called Studies in the Scriptures.
Oh, that's like 100 years ago.
Right. I'm interested in the history.
Oh, well, I'm sure if you continue reading that book, you'll get the history.
Oh, because they don't really comment on it. They just say that they changed it in later years. There's a little footnote. That's all it says right here. I'll just read it to you so you can see what the sentence says. It says, Nelson Barber succeeded in convincing Russell that Christ's invisible presence had begun in 1874.
Yeah. Like I said, that's from 100 years ago.
Yeah, I'm interested in the history. It's, when we examine things, and especially organizations that make the truth claims that even Russell did, we have to look at what he said at that time. And do you know how long they taught 1874? I was just interested in that, too. Yeah.
Christine?
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I'm going to end this call now because I have to go somewhere.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thanks for your help.
Kingdom Hall.
Oh, hi. I just have a quick question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Okay.
Do you have time?
I'll give it a whirl.
Oh, okay. Well, I found a Watchtower book in the thrift store, and I was interested in it. It's very interesting. It's really a nice book. It's huge. It's 700 pages. I think it's your group's book. It's called Jehovah's Witnesses, Proclaimers of God's Kingdom.
Yeah, like a history book.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah. So this really stuck out to me on page 47. It said that Russell believed that Christ's invisible presence began in 1874.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting because, witnesses I talked to, they talk a lot about 1914. I never heard them mention that.
What I would suggest doing is keep reading.
Oh, I see.
Because that's a history book, so it tells it gives tells those early Bible students, as they were understanding Bible prophecy and things, So keep reading.
Did he write that in his books?
What's that?
Did he write about that in his books? That 1874?
Well, yeah, that's why it's a truthful account of, the early Bible students and the kingdom.
Oh, wow.
There was prophecies about the kingdom that they were understanding.
Yeah.
Christ.
I think he said that they weren't his dates, but God's dates.
Yeah, and so they discerned that as they kept reading and understanding Bible prophecy.
So you can say things are God's dates, but it might change later. I mean,
as their understanding.
No, he said they were God's dates, like from God. He said it was from God, his plan. He mentions that a couple of times.
Well, because those early Bible students, have you read anything about the early? Let me see. Inside, I was looking to see if there was one. I'm at the Kingdom Hall.
Oh, okay.
And there's a library books here, but I don't see one on the shelf.
Oh, okay. Do you know how long the organization taught that date, 1874?
Not long.
Not long? Did they mention where they change it?
Keep reading. As they discerned the end of the Gentile times and prophecies regarding that in Daniel, and that they discerned that 1914 was that pivotal time. And so there would be an explanation for that.
That's interesting because I do have this other book by Rutherford. Do you know that guy named Rutherford?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was published. It was published in 1929, and he also mentions 1874, that he believed Christ was present since 1874. That was well after 1914. That really stood out to me when I was reading that.
What page were you on?
Oh, in Rutherford's book? Or you mean in this other book?
46 or?
47. Yeah, I have that other book too. I found that one time. I like looking at a lot of details. I know it's kind of a unusual interest, but.
So, yeah, because these are about the early days,
Right.
And as you're understanding them. So I would just suggest keep reading.
Yeah, what did you think about that Rutherford was still teaching that in 1929? He was teaching 1874. That's why I'm asking, when did they change it?
Understand it, I'd have to read it.
Oh, okay. Could I...
Just to say...
Yeah, are you interested in the page number? It's a book called Prophecy. I didn't memorize the page number it's on, but it's in there.
The Bible talks about the light of understanding prophecies and things getting brighter and brighter, and even in the book of Daniel, the things that he saw at the very end of that book, chapter 12, he said that that light of understanding Bible prophecies would get brighter and brighter as the time came on.
Well, that might work. That might work if they said that idea would be more feasible if they said we believe Jesus will come back in the 20th century. That's a little bit of light. Then the next later they said we believe it will be in October, right? That would be more light. But saying that the invisible presence began in 1874, and then saying it began in 1914. That most people that think logically would not call that new light; they would call it a false teaching, And so to use that, it seems like so that you won't think about it, I couldn't. I don't see how that is a new light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just remember, you're reading a history of
right.
something,
Right.
And that's what they're understanding that they have at that time.
Yeah, the thing is, though, that they didn't call it an understanding at that time. He called it God's dates, not ours.
Yeah, but as they understood it.
No, he didn't say as they understood it. He actually said you'd be better off to read his books than reading the Bible on your own without them. So his opinion of himself was very high. In the 7th Studies in the Scriptures book, The Finished Mystery, he's designated as the 7th and final messenger to the church.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like Orwellian to go back and interpret it as just his understanding.
Right. Well, like I said, I would suggest continue reading.
Yeah, I want to read the whole thing.
You just started. Yeah, you just started.
Yeah,
would you like someone to come by and see you, or?
No, but could I email you that reference in Rutherford's book where he also believed this date, 1874? Because you thought they didn't teach it very long. I think that is pretty long.
Well, it's like a subject that's over 100 years ago, you know.
Yeah, it's very relevant because in certain times they seem to indicate that the people in 1914 were the only ones that recognized the sign Jesus spoke of and understood it correctly. And that seems a little disingenuous when they were still teaching the invisible presence since 1874. How could they have understood the sign correctly? See, and that is important. You know, the Bible says to test all things.
Yeah.
Test the spirits to see if they are from God. And that, you know, when you're being kind of sly or they're being disingenuous like that, it's kind of what some postmodern people do, try to rewrite history by leaving out certain important details. That's just kind of how it seems to me. Could I send you that quote from that book? Because I don't have it memorized where it is, but maybe you could check it out.
Well, I mean, it's not going to help me in any way, I don't think.
Oh, it has helped a lot of people. Yeah.
But I do have to go.
Okay.
Just on the way out, so.
Yeah, I hope
keep reading the book.
You too. Keep reading the old books and see what they taught as from God at that time. They called themselves prophets too. So thanks for talking to me. God bless.
Okay, good day.
Yeah. Bye. Hi, I was just wondering if someone could help me with a question I had.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Well, I was wondering if someone could help me with a question I had.
Yes.
Do you have time?
Yes, I do. What's the question?
Oh, okay. Well, I found this, I think it's a Jehovah's Witness book in a bookstore, a thrift store. It's a really nice book. It's hardbound. It's 700 pages. It's called Jehovah's Witnesses, Proclaimers of God's Kingdom.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask you about something I read in there. It said that Russell believed that the presence of Christ started in 1874. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. Is that still the teaching right now, or because I thought they always talk about 1914, so I think I'm getting confused.
Yes, 1914 is the actual date. Can I get your name and number and call you back? We can further discuss this topic.
Well, so you don't have time?
I'm sorry?
Well, that's why I asked you, do you have time, before I asked the question?
Yes, I'm about to start a meeting and then...
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just call... Should I just try back later?
Yes, you'd have to call me directly.
Oh, okay. Do you have any thought on that? I mean, are you familiar with that, all that stuff that you could...
Yes.
That you know that... Okay. Do you know how long they taught that in their books?
I am...
Hello?
Again, can we discuss this?
Oh, sure.
Can I get your number?
Sure. Yeah, could I get yours? I mean, when's a good time?